Hey everyone, so I have had a lot of people asking me how I meal plan for the 21-day fix and how I prep, and I'm going to share with you exactly what I do. If you've done the 21-day fix in the past and maybe you fell off because you felt like the meal planning was too difficult or you just couldn't quite figure it all out, I'm hoping this will get you back on track and make you feel pretty confident that you can figure this out and do it. If you haven't done the 21-day fix and maybe you're thinking about doing it, I hope that this kind of gives you an insight as to ways that you can meal plan and prep to make sure that your 21-day fix journey is successful. So the first thing you're going to do whenever you receive your program is calculating your calories and how much you need. And then it's going to give you however many containers you need of each category. So for me, I am usually in the smaller category in the very bottom, the $1,200 to $1,499 range. So you'll just have to figure that out on your own. Now this bracket here gives you your weight and you figure it out on that. But in your booklet, it actually asks you some extra questions. So you definitely want to use the one in your booklet. They're usually about the same, but just make sure that you use the booklet. If you're trying to maintain, your calories are going to be different, so just check that out in your little booklet. And if you are breastfeeding, I get a lot of moms who ask me what they do if they're breastfeeding. We are advised to let you know that you should add on about 500 calories to compensate for that. And the 500 calories would just be added on to whatever your, say you're in this lower bracket, you'll add 500 on, so that you would end up probably in this bracket or move a bracket up. And then what? So once you have figured out your calories and everything, you get to look over the food list. Now this is a newer food list. It's actually located, if you have the club membership, you can see this. There's some extras online on the on-demand features, but this is the new food list, and become familiar with it as best you can. You don't have to memorize it by any means, but I just want you to kind of get familiar with the type of items that are in each one of these categories. So then that way, as you're out to eat, if you get stuck in a situation and you're like, I don't know where this would end up. Just the other day, I was like, I think peas are a yellow. I don't think that they're a green, and I was right. So, you don't have to memorize it, but just make sure that you look over it so you can kind of figure out where items are in the categories. And then step number 3, you're going to start planning. So this is the part that everybody gets hung up on because they get their calories, they get this, and they're like, okay, now what? I have all these containers. I have to have 2 yellows, 1 blue, 1 orange. How do I make meals out of that? So this is where I'm going to help you guys. There is the 21-day fix meal planner. Now this is also available online if you have the club membership. And the on-demand, you just log in and it's located under your purchase program of the 21-day fix. If you just recently purchased your 21-day fix, let me show you this so you know where it's at. So you'll go to your club membership and then go to programs. Actually, there should be right here. And it'll show all of your purchase programs, and it's over here on the right. You have the exclusive toolkit. It's located right in there. And all of your workouts are here. There's also a new vegan eating plan as well. So if you have any issues finding what you should eat if you're vegan, it's also got some tally sheets here. So anyway, just wanted to show you that really quickly. Anyway, you're going to go ahead and write in your number of containers. So like I said, I am in the 1,200 to 1,499 calorie range. So these are the amount of containers that I can have. Then you're going to find some recipes. So how do you find recipes? I always, alert my clients to make sure that you check out Pinterest because there are some amazing recipes on there, but also just be careful because I do notice that when I'm browsing Pinterest for recipes, I will see some that seem like they're 21-day fix approved, but then whenever I look at it, I can kind of tell that it's probably not. Remember that when you're looking at the recipes, check out the ingredients list that we have located here. And just make sure that those ingredients are somewhere on here. Now, there are going to be some exceptions, like, I think all vegetables should be green, and they may not all be listed on here. So there will be some exceptions, but, if one has like, let's see, like really high sugar syrup or something in the recipe, it's obviously not going to be 21 Day Fix approved because we're trying to stay away from a lot of the sugars and chemicals that are added to foods. And then my like page, I share a ton of 21 Day Fix approved recipes. I try my best to make any recipe that I do make 21 Day Fix approved, because I know I have so many people who follow me who are doing the 21 Day Fix, but I also use the 21 Day Fix program, so I have to try to find ways to make my meals 21 Day Fix approved. Also just Google 21 Day Fix recipes and you'll find a lot. If you're craving something, Google it in, 21 Day Fix recipe of pancakes. I'm sure you'll find them. And then, of course, the brand new Fix8 cookbook. I can't express enough how important it is to grab that book, because it is really, it has a ton of amazing recipes in there. And I think that you'll really, really like the ones that are in there. I think there's 101 or more recipes on there or in there. And if you're interested in getting that, I'll link it in the comments below. And then what you'll do, you'll copy those recipes. So say you're browsing, you find some really good recipes, you copy them. Now for me, I used to always like browse on my phone. So I would like take a picture of it and save it into a photo album on my iPhone. I'd actually make a photo album that said 21 Day Fix approved recipes, and I'd stash those in there. So I would take a screenshot of something if I found it, and I'd put it in there. Of course, you can put it on Pinterest, but just try to find a location where you're going to put all of your recipes so that you don't lose them. These are just some from my own page. So say you found some from there, you could screenshot those on your iPhone and save those. I also use something called Google Drive. It's basically like an online drive, almost like a computer storage, where you have folders of things. So you can create a 21 Day Fix folder and put your recipes in there. And what you want to try to do is pick staple recipes for the week. I generally try to pick a different dinner option for us. Usually I used to do 3 or 4 different ones, but here recently I try to do 5 different dinner options for us, and then usually 1 staple lunch item all the way through the week. I don't get bored of the same foods because I make sure that they're pretty tasty. But if you just absolutely cannot have the same food over and over for lunch, then what you could do is just when you're making, say, this recipe here, just make a little bit extra and just have the leftovers. So you could do that with every single meal plan, or every single recipe. So then that way, you're only having the same thing 2 or 3 times. You're not having the same thing all through the week. This doesn't bother me though, because I know that I have the options to switch it out if I wanted to. So once you've picked your staple recipe, so you found your recipes, you found these on my page, and you're like, gosh, I really want to make all of these items, then you can type those into whatever you're using to create your meal plan, or just write them down on a piece of paper. And then that way you kind of have those already set in stone, but then you can add them to this meal planner. So you start working on day 1. So this is a meal planner for each day. So start writing in your staples for the day. So I went ahead and wrote in the honey apple tenderloin. And because I already had the recipe and I saw what the ingredients were, and I know what they are as far as containers, because I put those on there on my like page, so you know what containers they are and how much you need of each for each container. Then you can go ahead and put those in here. So I know that those are the containers for this serving. And then on dinner, you'll see mac and cheese with broccoli and chicken. That is from the Fix8 cookbook, and I have those also in here as well. So I know that I already have those for day 1. Continuing with day 1, you're going to pick your reds, the proteins that you have left. So I try to make sure that I have my proteins spread out throughout the day and have those at least for most of my meals. I have a protein. Sometimes I'll have an extra protein. I'm only supposed to have 4, but some days I just need an extra protein. It's not the end of the world if you feel like you need to add in an extra protein. I almost count my Shakeology as a freebie because I really do feel like it's just essential. I don't think it should count for anything because we just all need it. So you can see where I put in the extra red. So I have the egg whites for breakfast, the Shakeology, which counts as a red. And then that's it as far as the reds because I hit the 4. And then your yellows. So I only have 1 yellow left because I only have 2 for the day. So the other yellow, I added oatmeal to this one. And you can just decide what what you want for your meals, because you get to just look over that food list, remember the food list, and go through there and just think of things, say you have a yellow left, you can just look through here and say, oh, okay, I really want waffles. I want one whole grain waffle. Write that in. There's tons of options for you available. All right. And then you see what you have left. So at the very end, you have pretty much your biggest meal items and your staples in there. And then you see that you have 2 greens, 1 purple, 1 blue, 1 orange, and 1/2 teaspoon. So then what I'll do is look through the color container items that I have left, and then I'll just add the favorites. So I know that I have, how many greens? I have 2 greens left. So I'll look through these and find what my favorite greens are, and I'll make sure that I add them to the list. Same thing with the other ones that I have left. So these are the ones that I added in there. So for the 2 greens, I added in spinach with my Shakeology, and then I also added cucumbers for a snack. And then for my purple, I added in strawberries for breakfast, so you'll see that there. And then for the blue, I have just 1/2 blue left, and you can see I added in almonds here. So that'll be 6 almonds, because 12 almonds is 1 blue. And then I see 1 orange. So you'll see here, flaxseed. So I have ground flaxseed that I usually like to add to my Shakeology just for an extra boost. And then I have 1/2 teaspoon. So you can see where I added that was right here. I will cook my egg whites in coconut oil to add that extra 1/2 teaspoon that I needed to add into my meal to make it 2. So you can look through here really quickly and say, okay, I have 2 here total. I have 1 here total. I have 2 here. I have 1 here. 4, 2, 3. So I know that I have all of my containers taken care of for day 1. Then you move on to day 2. So I know for day 2, I'm going to have a pizza pasta bake. Because remember, I went ahead and planned out all these recipes that I found that I really wanted to make. So I've got pizza pasta bake, tuna patties, naked taco salad, and personal pizza. And then Saturday and Sunday will be leftovers of whatever I have left. So I'm not being wasteful. And so on this, you'll see that I wrote in the pizza pasta bake and the amounts for that. And then I went ahead, and you can see where I said, then any reds you have left, go ahead and write those in like I did before, and then you just fill in the rest. So you can see it's a little bit different because I don't have almonds as a snack because I already used up my blue for my dinner. So I didn't need almonds for my snack that time. And then I also didn't need the flaxseed because for the dinner, I decided to have a side salad to add in a green. And so I decided to put a little bit of dressing on top of the side salad. So you can look through the dressing list. So you can go up here and it says 21-day fixed dressings. Just go through the dressings list and see which ones you'd like to add. I usually like to just get an organic, very clean, already made one at Kroger and then just use it instead of making, but the ones that they have that you make are really good. And then day 3, same thing. We're gonna have tuna patties that day. So you can see where I put that in there. So that was just 1 red and 1 yellow. And then I filled in the rest. And so this day I did decide to have almonds, but a whole almond, a whole container of almonds, which is actually 12 almonds. It's not the whole container. So if you look in there on the food list, it'll actually give you the amount of some of the stuff because they're all different sizes. So this one's actually 12 almonds. And then you'll also see that I added in the spinach and the flaxseed again, and then this remained the same, but with the coconut oil, I'm cooking with a whole teaspoon this time just because I needed to fill up my teaspoons. Okay, and then on day 4, same thing, write in your staples. That day is a naked taco salad, which is 1 green, 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. So then I look and see what I have left. I go with the proteins first, fill those in, and then fill in the rest. Same thing. And then same thing with day 5. So I'm having a personal pizza that day. So it's 1 green, 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 blue. And then I also have the honey apple tenderloin is every day for lunch. And then I just fill in the rest. And because this is 1 green, 1 red, and 1 blue, just like this one was, then I can pretty much keep the exact same meal plan for that day. And then step number 4, you're going to make your grocery list. This little 21-day fixed grocery list is a part of that online exclusive little document that you have. If you have the on-demand, you can also easily find it if you just Google it. So what you're gonna do is add all of your staple recipe ingredients. So go through the recipes, and I just copy and paste them, and I put them into what I call a Google document. It's part of that Google Drive that I was telling you about. You can just make a document and copy and paste all of the recipes into there, and then copy and paste the ingredients so that you can make your own grocery list. So what I'll do is copy and paste those, and then I'll add in any of the extra food items that I have. So you can see that once I go ahead and add in the recipes, then I'll just add in any of the extras as I'm going. So let me zoom in just a little bit here. There we go. So this is day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once I have put in the ingredients for this, and I just want to make sure that I have enough for 1 green cucumber, and you can look through here and see how many I need. So I know that I have 5 days worth of cucumbers that I need, and about a half of a cucumber is fills up the green container. So I know that I will need at least 2 or 3 cucumbers, and then you'll just look through here and add anything that you need to add. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And then make sure you have the proper cookware. So if you're looking at a recipe, before you choose that recipe, just make sure that you have the proper cookware. And go through your pantry and just check and see what you have, because you want to see that you have a lot of the stuff if you do, so you're not buying double and being wasteful. So a lot of the stuff, like if you're just making oatmeal, you might add cinnamon and stevia. You don't need to go buy that every time. Those will become kind of staple items in your pantry, and you won't have to buy as much over time. Now, when you are making your meal plan in the future, try to pick items or dinner items that are about the same as far as ingredients, but they're different. So what I mean by that is try to choose items where you're going to be using, chicken. So if you know you're going to be using chicken for one of your meals, then what you could do is make sure that at least 1 or 2 of your other meals throughout the week will have chicken too. So then you can buy it in bulk and save money. If you're going to buy some or make something with ground turkey, then make sure that you have another menu meal that week that will also require ground turkey, so that you can buy that in bulk as well and save time and money. And then throw out all the crap. Go through your pantry, go through everything, and just throw out anything that you know is going to be tempting you that does not fit your plan. If you have other people in the house, of course, be respectful of them, but make sure they know your goals. If you are wanting to do this 110%, they should be on board too. These food items and these and the meal plans and the recipes, these recipes are good, and they should really enjoy these recipes. And if they don't, I think they're crazy. But just don't tell them all that it's healthy either. I think when you tell kids that something's healthy, they're least likely wanting to eat that item. So, just tell them you're trying out a new recipe. Let them help you in the kitchen, especially if they're kiddos. If they feel like they helped you in the kitchen and they feel like they owned it and they were a part of it, or they went grocery shopping with you and got to pick out some of those items, then they feel like they would like it more because they were a part of it. So you want to throw out the junk or take it to a food pantry and then go grocery shopping. And of course, never go grocery shopping on an empty stomach. And then step number 5, you're going to prep. So once you get home from the grocery store, you're going to pick out the items that you know that you could prep for the week. Of course, one of the items that I mentioned here was a crock pot honey apple tenderloin. So once you have the items for that, you can go ahead and prep it because it's in the crock pot. So that's a night before. Do that on Sunday night. You wake up Monday morning and it's all prepped and ready to go. And then you could go ahead and make the chicken for certain items or ground turkey. What I usually look for, what items or what dinners require a protein that I could go ahead and cook in advance. Now, there was something on here called the pasta pizza bake, but that turkey actually does need to cook with the pasta because it's like a casserole dish. So I know that I can't cook that ahead of time, but I can cook ahead the chicken for another item. So you just want to go through there and see what you could go ahead and prep ahead. It's usually the things that are going to require more time that you want to go ahead and get out of the way, like chopping up stuff, bagging it, and things like that, which is why you see here I've chopped and divided some stuff. But again, that's why it's important for you to try to pick, recipes that are going to have kind of the same ingredients. So then that way you can prep ahead a couple things at once and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I chopped up the cucumbers, I chopped up strawberries, and then I went ahead and divided the Shakeology and put some flaxseed in it. So that's the red baggie. Now these baggies you can actually get at Target. I know that you can get them at Walmart now too. I use the red and the yellow, the green and the blue the most. I think there was another color in mine, but I can't remember which color it was. But I don't ever use the containers to actually store any of my food. I basically just use baggies and divide it all, and then I don't have to worry about the containers. The containers, I only use those to measure. So when people freak out that they don't have enough storage, I'm like, I don't even use them for storage. I use them for measuring, and then I pour them into other things. So oatmeal baggies as well. So I go ahead and measure out, a yellow of oatmeal, and I go ahead and put it in the baggie. And the same thing with the almonds. I go ahead and measure those out and put those in baggies. So I have 12 almonds per bag, so that I go ahead and have all of those divvied up, so that if I am in a situation where I need to grab and go, it's already there. I don't have to worry about scooping anything, measuring it out, finding the container, seeing if it's at the dishwasher, whatever, or chopping up anything. It's already done. All right, and then once you have all of those little baggies, you can take those smaller baggies and place them in a bigger gallon bag and label it for that day. And just a little tip, don't date it, just put the day of the week so you can reuse all of these baggies. So I just write on the day which day it is. So I know Wednesday, these are a lot of the items that I'm going to be having, and that includes almost everything so it is everything except for the lunch and the dinner. So that's pretty awesome. So I have all those in there. So I just grab that for the day. And I know, like, if I am at work for a 12-hour shift or something, I have all of that with me already. And it's already put into a package. And then you just want to divide and measure out your prep crock pot meal. So obviously in this picture, I have not only the crock pot meal, but I also have the veggies already added and a carb side. Now, for this meal plan that I just showed you and I was talking about, I was less one carb, so I didn't add a carb into the meal plan that I just went through with you because this one was different. But this is just to give you an idea of what meal prepping looks like. So you can also see in the upper right, I have just a pretty big bag. It's a gallon bag of, almost a gallon bag of chopped chicken. So I went ahead and cooked the chicken ahead of time. That's for the mac and cheese. And then I went ahead and divided up some stuff, and you can see that there. And these containers, I will link those in the comments or in the description because these are awesome. I get them on Amazon. They've been through the dishwasher a million times and they still look brand new. And they fit the 21-day fix stuff perfectly. And the lids almost have like enough room so that nothing touches any of the other food and it doesn't run into the other things. But it also makes it so if you have to pile something up, you can. And they stack on top of each other. So just a few tips. If you are stressed out and you're like, I can't do this is too much, use crock pot and casserole meals to save you time and let those last as long as you possibly can. If you're cooking for yourself and you don't get sick of certain meals, make it as simple as possible and find the things that you really like and cook those over and over until you do feel like you need to change it. Don't feel like you need to be making a new item every single night. Just figure out what works best for you. And then buy in bulk to save money. I said that before. If you can, try to find recipes that have the same type of protein ingredient. So then that way you're not spending, so much money going and buying like just 1 pound of ground turkey and just 1 pound of chicken. And it makes it a lot easier. And also buying in season to save money. Also, when you buy in season, it's actually healthier because it is in season. When you have to buy something out of season, especially in the Midwest, more than likely it has a lot of herbicides and things like that on it to protect it for the winter, to make it to us so we can eat it. So I would rather, have the in season. It's going to be nutritious and you get to save money because it is in season. And don't be afraid to go to a farmer's market. They have amazing, high quality produce that you can get from a farmer's market. And then do not eat out. This is one of the things where a lot of people say, well, I'm going out for dinner. What do I do? Don't go. Just don't go to dinner. But if you absolutely have to go to dinner, my advice would be to save your yellows for the day, maybe even your purples, And save those 2 yellows for your dinner, because no matter what, even if you order something that you think is so healthy, I guarantee there are hidden things inside of it. Even a salad has so many hidden ingredients, and you'll probably eat like 8 oranges, the orange containers, just in dressing that they put on the salad. So always ask them if they can put the dressing on the side. And there's lots of different tricks that you can use, but stay away from the bread bowl. If they put the bread on the table, just ignore it. But also have your Shakeology before you go. The Shakeology makes you feel super full and curbs cravings. So then when you do go to dinner, you don't feel like you're grabbing at the bread basket, or you have to have a piece of the appetizer. If you're going to have alcohol, you can replace one of your yellows with the wine if you'd like. So just look at that in your booklet. You can have dessert, you can have chocolate. I'm all for 80-20. 80% of the time, eat on plan perfectly as best you can, and then 20% of the time, you can splurge a little bit, not splurge a lot of it. I mean, that's, one day a week. If you have to go out to dinner, and, for Jason and I, we pick one night a week when we go out to dinner, and we do split a dessert. And I think that's completely normal. It keeps you sane, but it doesn't keep you from your goals. And don't make 2 different meals. I see this over and over and over. Families, the mom starts doing the 21-day fix, and she's like, well, I just ended up making 2 meals for every meal because my family had to have what they were eating too. These are whole, nutritious, amazing, awesome tasting foods that your family should be eating too. If you're wanting to eat better, to look good, you need to change your why a little bit to why you're doing this, because you want to be not only looking good, but you want to be healthy, and you want your kids to be healthy too. The foods out there in the grocery store are just packed with such crap. And for you to be feeding yourself and fueling yourself really well, but then not feeding your kids and your husband really well, that's not fair to them. And so don't just prejudge them and say, oh, there's no way that they'll like this, or make a big deal out of the new meal planning system that you're doing, because in that way, they really don't want to do it. They're more resistant if you make a big deal out of it. But just, for the dinners, just say, I'm trying something new. I guarantee a lot of the recipes that I put on my page for dinners, they will not. That honey crockpot apple tenderloin, they will not know that that's a healthy recipe. They won't know that the pizza pasta bake is a healthy recipe. They won't know any of it's healthy. So, just do your best, but don't feel like you need to be making 2 different meals for everybody. And if your spouse is complaining about whatever it is, make them go make the meals. If they know that this is really seriously, something really important to you, then they will make an effort, to help themselves as well and help you out and make you feel supported. And I can't stress this enough, but invest in the Shakeology. I see it time and time again where, somebody messages me and they say, I did the 21-day fix, but I didn't get great results. I followed the meal plan 100%, and, I'm upset, and I'll say, well, did you get the Shakeology? Or it's someone who comes to me and says, I'm still really hungry on the 21-day fix. The Shakeology gives you everything you need in your daily nutrients and everything that you need in a day. So it's so important that you have that as a part of your daily meal plan. I've been on Shakeology for almost 3 years now, and I won't change that. So it is something that I highly recommend. It does replace one of your snacks. As you saw, I put in there, and, I add some extra stuff into mine just because I have to get rid of some of my containers. I hate vegetables, so I have to sneak them in, and that's how I do it. Whenever I have a green container left, it's like the worst, because I'm usually like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to hide it in my shake. So I put a whole green container of spinach into my shake. I never taste it because the vegan chocolate Shakeology tastes so good, and I blend it all together. I don't even taste it. So, I can't stress enough to be on the Shakeology. At least just try it. There's a 30-day money-back promise. So even if you try it and you're like, it's not my thing, send it back. But I'm just telling you, I rarely have anybody come to me and say, the Shakeology wasn't for me. That's a pretty rare occurrence, because everyone who gets it stays on it and loves it. Keep it simple. Don't try to overcomplicate things. If you see a meal plan floating around out there, don't try to just take it and cookie cut it and make it yours because somebody else is using it. That's why I don't like giving out all of my meal plans, because I feel like people use it, and then after that week's done, they're like, okay, now what? because they haven't really taught themselves what I'm teaching you right now, teaching you how to meal plan for yourself. You find the recipes, you pick a few staples, and then you build around that and build your meal plan up, and then you make your grocery list. And if you do that over and over and over, you can see how easy it will be for you to incorporate more meals that you like. That way you stick to it. You know, if you're taking someone else's meal plan and using it, the likelihood of you loving every single thing on that meal plan is very rare. You know, I have cucumbers on mine. Some people hate cucumbers. I have, you know, egg whites and what do I have for oatmeal for breakfast, and some people may not like oatmeal. So you just have to be using something that's going to work for you, and don't just go out there and find things that's going to complicate it and make it harder on you. And always give it 21 days. I don't know how many times I've been, you know, messaged and somebody says, I'm on day 6 and I haven't lost any weight. Get off the scale, give it 21 days, make sure you're taking pictures, make sure you're taking measurements. You know, you have to be paying attention to things other than that stupid scale, because the scale is not going to be showing you the results. I had faith in the program. I'll tell you, for the first week, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. I didn't really feel a whole lot different. And then by week 2, I started having more energy. I noticed that I was getting better with my workouts. And then by the end of the 21 days, I was floored when I saw my before and after. As you can see right there on the right, I was just amazed. And of course, I just started talking about the 21-day fix like crazy because of what it did for me. I can't remember exactly how many pounds I lost. I believe it was 11.5 pounds, over 14 or 15 inches. And I mean, just looking at the pictures, that's all I need. I could care less about the inches and all of that. I just know how I feel now that I've done it, and it's become a part of my lifestyle. It's something that's ingrained in me. So now when I go out to dinner, I'm like, oh, that's a green, that's a yellow, you know, and it makes it a lot easier for you to make this a lifestyle. All right. So anyway, guys, I hope this really helped you. If you have any more questions for me, feel free to email me at brookefit1@gmail.com or add me on Facebook. I also do have some challenge groups, and by challenge groups, that just means support groups, where I can add you into those groups, and it just helps you stay accountable to yourself. If you have a coach, make sure that you reach out to them. If they don't respond to you, feel free to find another coach. I always hear people come to me and say, you know, my coach never even contacted me. If that's the case, make sure you have someone holding you accountable. You get a free coach when you're doing these programs. Anything by Beachbody, you have a free coach, and they should be reaching out to you. If they haven't, you hunt them down and you reach out to them. But if they don't contact you back, find a new coach, find someone you relate to, so you can hit your goals and they can help you do that. So anyways, guys, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions about the 21-day fix or being a part of any of my challenge groups or about coaching, feel free to reach out. Bye, guys.